right, welcome in to the Thursday edition, another great Thursday of Red Corner, Blue Corner. This is my guy, Joshua Perry. You might be asking, why am I sweating right now? Because JP spends the whole pre-show getting me fired up about the game next weekend. Of course, he's a national champion, a captain for the Ohio State Buckeyes, but we got a full slate this week. JP, happy to have you, bro.
Yeah, this is the issue, right? Is we're so close to the game that Jake Butt cannot contain himself. And I appreciate that energy out of this man because that's how we all should feel about it. This is a two-time All-American, the Mackey Award winner. I cannot say enough good things about Jake Butt, except for the fact that he's really sweaty.
I don't even know how I'm sitting down right now. And this first topic is a reason we all might get up off of our seats. So, big news. Big news. Of course, Ohio State, Michigan next weekend, but where will Coach Harbaugh be? Well, we had a conversation with some of the Buckeye community yesterday, and it seems like Ohio State wants Harbaugh reinstated. They want no excuses. So there's growing sentiment really across social media. Ohio State, their fans, they want Jim Harbaugh reinstated for next week's game. JP, as the Buckeye, what do you think?
Yeah, this is an interesting thing, right? Because I think even initially when the suspension came down about a week ago, there were a lot of Ohio State fans that were like, you know, if they suspend him for Penn State and Maryland, that's perfectly fine. We want Jim Harbaugh on the sideline there because people want their revenge and they want the head coach to be there. There were also rumblings on social media last night that Gene Smith and Ryan Day were pushing behind the scenes to get Jim Harbaugh back reinstated. Now, there are two schools of thought on this. The first school of thought is that, you know, if Ryan Day was the one, or the reports are out there that he was the one that hired the PI firm, right, then this would be a nice brand-saving move to say, oh, no. We didn't want him to get suspended. We want him right here, right now. You know, we want to have Jim Harbaugh there on the sidelines for the game when you win. There's another school of thought, and I think that both of them are true, that says that if Jim Harbaugh is not there, it is a lose-lose for Ryan Day, even if Ohio State wins. Because if they win, you would have only beaten Sharon Moore, who is a wonderful coach, but he is not an experienced head coach, has no experience coaching this game in this rivalry. And if you lose, well, damn, you lost to Sharon Moore. He's never coached in this game. This is a guy who doesn't have the experience. So I think from both standpoints, it makes sense that there would be rumblings of this.
Dave Cushman was in the comments, and it just popped up on our screen saying he doesn't think Ryan Day cares. He thinks it matters more to Ryan Day. Like, he just wants a win over Michigan, right? Ryan Day doesn't care about beating Michigan at full strength. The man is fighting for his job and would happily take a win against America's team any way he can get it.
Do we know he's fighting for his job?
That's what I'm saying. I just don't feel that's accurate. But do you think he'll take a win either way, or do you think
he would? I think he would prefer the win with Jim Harbaugh there.
Prefer the win with Jim Harbaugh,
I don't think
yes.
That's like a crazy thing to go out there and say. And quite frankly, I don't think it would be a wild thing to question if he desires that Jim Harbaugh's there for the reasons that I put out there. I think truly the job, maybe you want to say the job is on the line. If Jim Harbaugh's not there and you lose to Sharon, then maybe people start asking the question.
So the risk reward is, yeah.
But if you lost again to Jim Harbaugh, you would also still be a New Year's Six bowl team. 3 out of the 5 years under Ryan Day, you would have made it to the college football playoff, and the other 2 years, you would have been in a New Year's Six bowl game. It's really hard to fire a guy with a track record like that.
Yeah. Well, got a hearing tomorrow, huh?
Yeah, and I know this is something that everybody's following around the conference here, trying to see if Jim Harbaugh can be reinstated through the court process there. When you think about this hearing, where do you project that this is going to come out? You
know, the weird thing about this is we've heard breaking news and leaks throughout this entire process, but I don't see Pete Thamel talking about the breaking news of this hearing, right? I think it's up in the air, and it's anyone's guess of what happens. The one thing I would point to, well, the court is in Washtenaw County, which is right there. Basically, there's a Washtenaw Drive running right through the heart of the Ann Arbor campus. I believe the judge has Michigan ties as well, right? So you would probably feel pretty good if you're a Michigan fan about this ruling, but I do not have any insider information. I have nothing to leak for you. I think we'll all be tuning in on the edge of our seats to see how that thing gets ruled.
Yeah, I think the intriguing part about leaks when it comes to this is like the court system, if it did have leaks, would, I think, jeopardize our belief in democracy and accountability through there. The other thing, too, is I know the Big Ten was very careful when they wrote their letter. They described some interviews that had taken place and some evidence that they had uncovered that they wanted to keep confidential and needed to remain confidential. Now, I'm not sure if this is something that would play into the Big Ten's hand when they go in for this hearing. But to your point, it doesn't seem like anything has changed dramatically since we found out that the hearing was going to be on Friday, and so we'll figure out exactly what happens.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, you're exactly right. It would erode trust in the court system. The whole point of the court is to hear both sides, be presented a case, and then make a ruling. So, of course, there'll be no leaks. But here's one thing. I imagine you guys at home would love to go see this game, right?
Oh, yeah.
But tickets, they're pricey. Well, guess what? We might have something for you, a little giveaway. We are giving away a pair of tickets to the game at the Big House. But here is the key. Make sure you head over to our Instagram, red__blue corner. We need you to like this post, tag the person you would bring to this game, and follow Red Corner, Blue Corner, and Watch Stadium on Instagram. That's all you need to do to be entered. And guess what? We will pick a winner very, very soon.
Entries by midnight tonight. Make sure you get them in there. But now we got a really fun part of the show coming up because we got to bring in our guy, Sam Brief. You have seen him here on Red Corner, Blue Corner, but now he is here in the flesh. In addition to being one of our most loyal viewers, Sam is also the 2023 American Association Broadcaster of the Year, does TV and radio for the Windy City Bulls and the Chicago Dogs. So, Sam, definitely appreciate you joining us here.
Joshua, Jake, great to be had. Thanks for having me in, guys.
Well, Sam, we're going to put those broadcast skills to use. Let's see how ready you are, because there was a unique play that happened in the Washington-Utah game over the weekend. We'd like you to call the action.
All right, let's roll. Hit me. Okay, this is that fumble. Okay, so Barnes, back to pass across the middle. It's dropped, and here's Tupatula down the sideline for the Huskies. Green grass ahead. A massive swing in Seattle, and oh no, he dropped it. Dropped it at the inch line. No, maybe at the 2-yard line. And Utah's Michael Moko Fisi has the presence of mind to jump on it. Oh, it's Utah ball, a calamity here at Husky Stadium. What are we doing, fellas?
All right, so obviously you are an award-winning broadcaster for a reason. The use of the word calamity, I absolutely love. Presence of mind, a great thing to throw in there. And then also the pronunciations on the names. I just feel like you aced every part of this.
We put you on the spot, and you delivered. I don't think anyone had any concern about it. Keep doing what you're doing, Sam.
Thank you, fellas. Yeah, Moko Fisi, Tupatula, you don't see those every day, but you gotta nail them.
Yeah, no, you definitely gotta nail them. But I feel like we brought you in here for a different reason, right?
Yeah, listen, I'm here to talk some Big Ten football. We're not here to call fumbles and some calamities down in Seattle. How about these Big Ten West standings? I've never seen this before. 2 weeks left, you've got Iowa at the top, and then 5 teams all with the same exact record, a total logjam. My Northwestern Wildcats, then Nebraska, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota round it out. So, fellas, got to play a little game with both of you here. A little fact or fiction as we look at the Big Ten West. And we'll start with the major news out of Iowa City. Cooper DeJean, one of the best defensive players in the country, he's out for the season. So, fact or fiction now, Iowa's season is derailed. Over.
Well, this is huge news. Kirk Ferentz said he was one of the best players at any position on any team that he's ever coached. He told us in our meetings last week, it's not just his on-field presence, but because of his IQ, it allows him to disguise coverages and do a bunch of things. I'm going to say fiction, though, because this has still been the most complete team. I understand the offensive struggles, but the way they play as a team, they find ways to win. I cannot say that about the rest of the Big Ten West.
Yeah, I'm going fiction as well for a different reason, and that's the fact that this has been a team that has responded to injuries as well as anybody in America. Like, it's a weird formula for the way that they get things done, but Cade McNamara, starting quarterback, he's out. You got 2 of the best tight ends in the country that go down with season-ending injuries, and now all of a sudden you got a potential first-round draft pick that's going to be out. And these guys never flinch. They just keep responding to every challenge that's out there for them this season. So I don't think it derails them whatsoever.
I hate to just make it a 3-man agreement party, but I got to agree with you guys. I mean, they play a pretty cupcake schedule now, right?
Yeah.
Illinois and then Nebraska. So Hawkeyes, they should be fine. But You know who has not been fine recently? Wisconsin. What's going on at Camp Randall? 3-game losing streak under first-year head coach Luke Fickell. So now fact or fiction as we look forward, fellas. Wisconsin will snap that losing streak at home against Nebraska.
I think they do. I think that is fact. You mentioned that they're playing at home. Camp Randall is an environment that is different, right? It gets you energized, and they're playing there in the evening, too. It's a difficult environment. Second thing is Luke Fickell really challenged his team this week. He called guys out. You had Hunter Waller who was calling guys out, too, about who they really are. And I think if they're made of what I believe them to be made of, and I go back to what they did against Illinois to come back in that football game, they showed some of it this year. They're going to respond the right way, and quite frankly, Nebraska's going to give them enough chances because they're going to throw them the ball enough.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to say fiction because I think Nebraska may not have to throw the ball. One thing about Wisconsin's defense that has burned them this year is quite simply gap responsibility, gap assignments. And that's the way Luke Fickell wants to play defense. He says, play football, not fitball. The issue is when you're playing a team that likes to get into read options and quarterback runs, gap responsibility is of the highest priority. I think Nebraska is able to lean on that run game, which matters even more on the road, and Nebraska's going to be able to get it done.
All right.
1966. That's the last time Nebraska won a game at Camp Randall. It's not happening.
It's a long time.
Way.
It's a long time.
Okay, let's keep it local. Land of Lincoln. You've got 5-5 Illinois and 5-5 Northwestern. You need 6 wins to make a bowl game. So fact or fiction, only one team from Illinois will make a bowl game this year. What do we got?
I'm struggling, right? Because the situation for both of them would be that, well, first off, Iowa would need to be upset this week, which I don't think is going to happen. So you would need a Northwestern win this week, and then Illinois got to win the rivalry game. I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I feel like Northwestern can get a win this week. I also feel like they can beat Illinois when they play them in that game. So I'm not sure if Illinois is going to make it there because I don't see them beating Iowa.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a fiction, but it's a complete toss-up. I wouldn't be surprised if both teams did make it. It'll be interesting to see, Illinois is playing Altmaier, their quarterback that started the majority of the season, and not Paddock, who led 2 game-winning drives in the last 2 weeks. Let's see what happens with that quarterback position this week. I do think Northwestern gets it done this week. And if I say they get it done this week, why can't they do it again next?
Yeah, I agree.
Why not? And is this Northwestern team about to go 7-5 under David Braun, who is about to be promoted to head coach?
Just confirmed, actually.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Just real quick, your thoughts on that, being a guy with a connection to the Northwestern program?
Yeah, David Braun, against all odds, 38-year-old first-year head coach, he absolutely deserved this, right? Getting promoted from interim to head coach. It was a disaster in Evanston before the season started. Yeah. People were thinking 0-12, 1-11. Here they are on the verge of a bowl. Impressive.
No, it certainly has been impressive, and you have been impressive as well, Sam.
You have been impressive.
Oh, thank you. We appreciate you joining us over here on Red Corner, Blue Corner, but we are going to get to our first break right here. And when we come back, we'll be joined by another colleague of ours, and that is the Big Ten Network's Brooke Fletcher. She's seen all these teams. She knows about these teams, and she's going to help us make picks. And also, she's going to make another huge decision that's coming up.
game. We're under 10 days, single digits, 9 days away. JP, we got something coming for him next week now, don't we?
Yeah, should be good. I'm trying to stay emotionally level. All right, but
You're a level dude.
I'm getting ready to get.
You're a reasonable guy.
Getting ready to turn it up. And now we can bring somebody in here who's ready to turn it up. She's seen both of these teams in person, can give us a little bit of insight on the game that's coming up. We got Brooke Fletcher.
Hello, gentlemen.
Colleague over here, friend from Big Ten Network. How we doing?
I'm great. I'm trying to figure out where I need to sit because I've heard that blue couch has been some places that we don't want to discuss on TV. And then Joshua, I mean, I don't know if the red's going to clash with my shirt. I mean, there's just a lot of questions. Where should I sit?
I will tell you that the red couch has won multiple Couch of the Year awards. This one hasn't done that since the 90s. So this would certainly be a place.
I do like winners.
Yeah, that you would want to sit.
Well, this is an ascending couch. I just talked to the manufacturer. It is a Cloud Couch knockoff, so it's extremely comfortable. Might I remind you, it is the color of your team, right? Auburn.
Oh.
And might I remind you what someone said about the Auburn football team earlier in the year?
You know what? You are correct, Jake.
Right. But they might have a recall on this couch, though. We don't know what went into making this couch. It might be a recall.
Hey, I got you.
I'm a little disappointed that none of you guys offered me gifts, so I thought that was going to maybe swing my vote here. But because of my outfit, I'm wearing maroon. I don't know if that's going to clash, so I'm going to have to go.
Yeah, and the red couch, it's been 2 years since they've been relevant anyways, right?
Whatever, dude. I'm going to spread out that. I'm all comfortable.
Good to have you.
Good to see you.
We're a three-man crew. We're just missing Corey anyways. This is our TV crew.
I'm still supporting somewhat red, right? I got a shade of red on, so I'm Sweden right now.
All right, well, you know what? We'll let the little love fest over there settle down right now because I do have a legitimate question. As I mentioned when you were coming in, you've seen Ohio State, you've seen Michigan in person this year. Very familiar. You talk to players, you talk to the coaches. So how do these teams stack up in about 9 days?
This is tough. Right? This is the matchup that we've been waiting for. I mean, I think Ohio State, they're really starting to find some confidence. I talked to Kyle McCord last night, and he was telling me, like, he's coming off a career-high game, and he was saying that it's just getting those reps every single week. He's building more confidence under center there and also building that chemistry. Marvin Harrison Jr., he said nothing even surprises him anymore with what he's doing, but having Cade Stover back in the mix, Travion Henderson, health has been huge for them. Defense was really starting to click. They were out 3 key guys last week, but it didn't seem like it really impacted them. Michigan, though, they just have so much depth. It's like we were curious how they were going to go up against Penn State. They were able to hold their own. So I don't know. It's still a toss-up, but both of these teams just really playing on high levels right now.
Real quick, did you get a sense there was any look ahead when you talked to McCord? You said you talked to him last night?
Yeah, I talked to him last night, and he was saying as far as this game goes, he said, listen, we're focusing on one game at a time. We don't want to underestimate Minnesota there because we talk about those games can sneak up on you, right? When you let your guard down. But he said, we want to use this as an opportunity to really figure out where we are, identity. They know their identity, but to get out those last minute kinks there, really establish a few things before that matchup against Michigan. Well,
you kind of led us into that, and we are calling. We'll be on the sidelines and in the booth for Minnesota, Ohio State. So we'll give you our keys of the game, and that would leave JP to kick off the picks of the week this week. JP, the Gophers versus the Buckeyes. Who do you got?
It's Buckeyes, and it's not close. And I think PJ Fleck's program is in a bit of an identity crisis at this point, and I think they have to get a lot of things figured out. And he makes valid points when he talks about how hard it is for them to build a program in the NIL and transfer portal age. I also think that there has to be some point where you just overcome the adversity, and this is not going to be the point. Ohio State is too good of a team, so I got them winning pretty big.
When we talked to the Minnesota staff yesterday, did you get a sense of their keys to the victory?
I mean, I think they were saying, usually you say you have to stop the run, but then PJ Fleck was saying we might have to get them to run, right? Because they know how explosive that offense can be there, so maybe they can get the job done defensively on the ground, but they're without some really big starters on that defense there. Cody Lindenberg, we know he is a leader for that team there, so not having him in the mix. Tyler Nubin didn't have the best game there, so they're going to have to really figure some things out to go up against Ohio State.
It was interesting when PJ said he wants to force Ohio State to run the football, but by the same note, the injuries at the linebacker position makes that a bit interesting. That's going to be a big key in this game.
Forcing the ball into Travion Henderson's hands feels like a
especially
recently. The passing game too. Like it's just. It's tough.
Okay, let's go to the other side of the rivalry. Of course, Michigan playing Maryland this week. JP will kick it off. Who do you got?
Yeah, and this one was one that I think we looked at early on this year, and we said it could be a bigger game for Michigan. And Maryland, the wheels have completely fallen off. They got a last-second field goal to beat Nebraska and get back in the win column for the first time since September a week ago. Michigan should handle business. This should not be a difficult task for them, and I don't think it will be. They're coming off of a game against Penn State where they learned a lot about themselves, and now they have the one against Maryland before the biggest one of the year. They're not going to let any look ahead get in the way here.
Brooke, is there any chance Maryland can make this one even close? Interesting?
I don't know. It's Michigan versus everybody, right? I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder, so I think they have their eye on the prize here, and they're not going to let Maryland stand in their way.
You chose the right couch. Michigan versus everybody. We're happy to have you on the team. I'm also picking the
I
Wolverines.
told you I'm sweet in here. I'm not taking sides.
Okay. Rutgers has played both Michigan and Ohio State tough throughout.
Than people would anticipate. The Rutgers defense, and I know that they did not look good last week against Iowa, they do have an opportunity to be very disruptive against a Penn State offense without a coordinator currently because they just fired Mike Yurcich, and without a confident quarterback because Drew Aller does not look like he's playing with confidence. I think Penn State gets the win, but I do think that this game might be a little bit sticky.
Brooke? What do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Penn State here. Rutgers, their offense really concerns me right now. I don't know. Gavin Williams said it was hard for him to find that chemistry. I'm going to go with Penn State.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Penn State as well. It will be interesting to see how the offense looks. Sometimes that could be a big spark for a team. I think the defense handled their business. All right, Michigan State versus Indiana, two teams that have a bit underperformed this year. JP?
I mean, Indiana looked good against Wisconsin, then they looked good again last week and against Illinois. Like, I feel like they're on the upswing versus a Michigan State team where they've been trying, but they can't get there. I'm going to lean Indiana on this one.
Brooke?
I'm going to go with Indiana, too. I like what I'm seeing from Brendan Sorsby there and that offense. Aaron Casey on that defense making his presence known. I like Indiana here.
I'm going to continue the trend. I'm picking the Hoosiers.
Ooh,
Ascending team.
okay.
Ascending team. All right. Purdue versus Northwestern. Let's get right into it, JP.
I mean, what do we make of Purdue from a week ago?
Hudson Card, I thought he played one of his better games.
Is that closer to who they are or an
one of their
anomaly?
better games? But I don't think their defense was very good at all. I think Northwestern has that bit of consistency. I think they're the better team at this point in the year. So I do think this could be a fun football game, but I'm going to go with Northwestern as the winners.
I'm going to go with Northwestern. I think having Ben Bryant back is huge for that offense.
I'm also picking Northwestern. A huge week. Okay, David Braun's the head coach. Go play even harder for him, right? An emotional boost. All right, we previewed this game earlier. Two of the big-name offseason hires. Fickle versus Matt Rule, Nebraska versus Wisconsin. JP, what do you got?
Wisconsin playing at home, Camp Randall at night. Luke Fickle challenged his team. He told these guys, I want to see who wants to be here. I think he's going to find out Saturday.
I'm going to go with Wisconsin. I think having Tanner Mordecai, Braylon Allen, even though he didn't play a lot, how much are we going to see of him? Chimere Dike, having those guys back, that can really change an offense.
I'm going to break the chain. I'm going with Nebraska. I think they run the ball well and they get it done on the road.
Okay.
All right, let's wind this one up. Quarterback controversy for the Fighting Illini. Cooper DeJean out for the Hawkeyes. JP, who do you got?
I got the Hawkeyes.
Okay.
I got the Hawkeyes. They're a better football team. 16th team in the country. Come on now.
Brooke?
I'm going to go with the Hawkeyes here. Deacon Hill was showing some confidence under center last week here. I'm going with the Hawkeyes.
Okay, I broke it once. I continued it. I'm going to continue it here. I got the Hawkeyes, so we're going to finish it up with a nice 3 in a row.
Yeah, I just feel like we saw all these games pretty similarly here, but a ton of fun. Brooke Fletcher, we appreciate you joining us over here, but that'll do it for us right here on Red Corner, Blue Corner. For Jake Butt, I'm Joshua Perry, and we'll see you all next week previewing the game. Take care.